Welcome to another edition of Daily Airline News, focusing on the search for MH370. I'm Jeffrey Thomas, and delighted to say once again, joined by my co-host Richard Godfrey in Germany. Good morning, Richard.
And good afternoon, Jeffrey.
So, as promised, viewers, we're going to be looking at MH370. Can AI find the elusive MH370? So, just as a way of introducing this, there's been 1,065,018 academic papers on the subject of machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotics, compute vision, expert systems, fuzzy logic, cognitive computing, knowledgeable representation, and reasoning. There are only 33 academic papers on MH370, and there are none on can AI find MH370. So, Richard, the question is, can AI find MH370?
Yeah, a very good question. And I think the answer is yes. But with so many papers on AI, but so few on, or in fact, none at all relating AI to MH370, it's obviously a new field for a lot of people. So I decided instead of trying to answer the question myself, I'd ask AI whether AI can find MH370.
And what was the answer?
The answer was a bit cagey. In principle, yes, AI can significantly increase the odds of finding MH370. That sounds very positive. In practice, it says, not unless it's given the right data and access to the search areas and human collaboration. So AI knows its limits.
Mm.
So I asked the first question, what is the right data? And I got a very long list. Some of that data requested I don't have, about 600 terabytes of satellite and sonar imagery, for example. Other data, I have the complete Boeing performance manual, I have the radar data, I have the ADS-B data, I have access to all the Whisper data. So, a lot of tick boxes on the long list of data, but also a few things to go and hunt for. And in terms of access to the search areas, well, I've got no problem to send an email to ATSB and to companies like Ocean Infinity or other underwater search companies, whether they would be interested in feeding the output of an AI model into their AI models, perhaps running underwater drones. And I said to the AI system, I'm very happy to collaborate and to seek further collaborators. Then I was told, very interesting point, this has been tried before.
It's been done before. Who did it?
Well, apparently, well, AI told me, um, you will no doubt have a bunch of questions about what was done before, and I will tell you the questions that you should be asking and give you the answers. So, first question you should ask, who conducted the AI analysis? In 2018, a UK-based company called Ocean Infinity led a renewed search using advanced technology, including robotics, including AI technology. And in parallel, data scientists, including the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, ATSB, and independent researchers applied AI and machine learning to analyze massive data sets from satellite imagery and underwater sonar scans. So, what kind of data and AI methods were used? Well, apparently 600 terabytes of satellite imagery from the days following the disappearance, and deep learning models were trained to detect possible aircraft debris or anomalies on the ocean surface or in the atmosphere above, and for days after, as floating debris may have dispersed. And AI helped to filter out false positives, which were waves or reflections, and prioritize higher probability locations.
Cripes, that's amazing. That is a real revelation, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
what was the result?
No confirmed discovery of the aircraft, but AI analysis did help to narrow down the likely crash site to a section in the southern Indian Ocean, reinforce earlier drift modeling and satellite handshake ping data from Inmarsat, and influence the definition of the search priority zones used in later seabed scans.
So, obviously, this begs the question, why didn't AI find the wreckage?
Yeah, well, that was one of the questions that AI said we should ask. And the, the answer is, according to AI, the ocean area is vast, deep, and extremely challenging to search. Well, tell us something new we didn't know already.
Yeah.
Debris may have drifted far or sunk beyond accessible zones. We've also talked about that at length.
Yep.
The wreckage may be camouflaged by undersea terrain or covered by silt. And we've gone into that one too
We
in
have.
previous episodes. And AI was limited by image resolution, quality of available data, and what it calls lack of ground truth labels. So, from the 600 terabytes of data, it seems that it wasn't obvious to uh, identify exactly what was going on because the resolution is too low or clouds got in the way. And there are a number of issues.
And what, may I ask, is a ground truth label?
Yeah, well, I think I better ask AI what it
Yes.
means. But for me, a ground truth, if I take a satellite picture of Perth and then I
Yep.
can identify particular objects in Perth that I know, and I can then say, aha, that is this location or that river. And then I can add a ground truth label and can confirm the image definitely is of Perth. So,
Like my favorite coffee shop around the corner, Cup and Co. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Get you.
well, we'll watch you drinking coffee then from
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
satellite.
Yeah. So, what is the current status of this, Richard?
Well, nothing new. MH370 has still not been found, AI tells me. So, well, we know that. That's why we have these podcasts every day.
We do.
And it also tells me there's renewed interest in AI assisted efforts to find MH370, with some groups pushing for a new search using improved AI models and more recent satellite data. There you go.
I was going to say, I mean, AI has moved on a long way since 2018, hasn't it?
Indeed, it moves on a long way every microsecond, I think.
Yeah. So, was a report published on the previous AI efforts?
No, and I found that strange
Yeah.
because, the effort to investigate 600 terabytes of imagery is quite substantial. AI referred me to the reports we already have, which don't mention AI specifically. So we have the ATSB's final operational search report from 2017. We have the Cicero ocean surface drift reports in four parts between 2016 and 2017. There was a Geoscience Australia imagery analysis report from March 2017, an ATSB residual imagery analysis report in August 2017, and ATSB Geoscience Australia sonar data review from March 2022. So there's a lot of reading we can do, but they don't describe specifically the AI efforts.
This is a disappointing result, is it not?
Yeah, but as you said, way back in 2017 and 2018, it was much more difficult, and AI has come on a long way in recent years. And also, since then, we've gathered more and more data on MH370. But I will point out there's still a huge amount of data that we don't have.
Exactly. So how do we set about using AI now to find MH370?
Well, I asked AI exactly that question,
Did you?
and
Okay.
AI tells me the answer. Um, Using AI to help find Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 involves a combination of data analysis, modeling, search optimization across multiple disciplines. So one of the issues previously is everyone was doing their work in silos, and the oceanographers weren't talking to the aeronautical people, and the aeronautical people weren't talking to the satellite experts, who weren't talking to the radar experts, and so on and so on.
Mm.
And AI can provide powerful tools to narrow search areas and reanalyze available data. And then AI suggested a way of going about this problem. Firstly, we should define the goal very clearly. And AI suggests the primary goal is to predict the most probable location of MH370's final resting place. And secondary goals may include understanding flight path anomalies, simulating likely descent scenarios, and supporting future search operations in optimized resource allocation. So, what I thought, I intend to feed various AI models with data from Boeing on the fuel, the Malaysian Airlines engineering data, Inmarsat data, radar, ADSB, whisper, satellite imagery, hydroacoustics, and the debris finds, any data we can get, basically. Plan to ask ATSB for access to the search area, and I plan to collaborate with AI, share my knowledge database and aeronautical and whisper experience. I have asked Professor Simon Maskell if he's willing to collaborate. He's already collecting and organizing data, developing analytical models, and integrating those into a Bayesian framework using AI. So he's already a few steps ahead. I have asked my millionaire friend with the company building underwater AI drones if he is willing to collaborate, and he has said yes. Very happy to support the idea. And then we'll do a feasibility study. We'll develop some AI models. We will go through several iterations, simulations, and refinements of those models. And then we'll present some and operationalize the results. So take the AI model we developed and feed it to AI drones, basically, to go look. So
Mm.
complicated process.
Yeah. So what are your next steps? What's first on the agenda?
So the next steps would be to feed the exact location and date of each of the 46 and counting floating debris items into an AI system with up-to-date oceanographic models, feed the Boeing performance data, the Malaysian Airlines engineering data for the actual aircraft, and the fuel data to understand the maximum range and endurance of an aircraft to a current AI aeronautical model, and feed the Inmarsat satellite data to a current AI satellite model, and then try and define a scope of a search area. Once we've got a bit of a narrower search, we'll go looking for high resolution satellite imagery and feed that to a pattern recognition model looking for any anomalies, which might be an aircraft or surface debris. And we'll feed WSPR data from the 7th and 8th of March 2014 to a signal processing model, again looking for anomalies which might be an aircraft.
So do you think you'll succeed on this little journey?
It's quite a long journey,
Yes.
probably take a year or two.
Yeah.
Um, I am not 100% sure because the satellite imagery, sonar imagery project back in 2017 and 18 didn't find anything, but things have changed in AI pattern recognition since then. So that leads to some hope. So I checked out what satellite imagery is available from 2014, and I found 6 satellites with optical, infrared, and radar derived imagery, but only one with high resolution images. That's from Landsat 8 satellite. And that only passed over MH370 crash area every 16 days and not on the 7th and 8th of March. And definitely not between, say, 8th of March, midnight, and 10 minutes thereafter, through to, say, 30 minutes after midnight. I'm trying to find out what low resolution imagery is available. There are archives at NASA, at ISRO, and the Thai satellite company GIS TDA also has archives. And there's also one radar sat, one set of imagery, but that's not all in the public domain, and some of it will require a funding because it's commercial and they will want money. And some is not available at all because it's military and
Mm.
security.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the European Space Agency Sentinel-1 was only launched in April 2014, and ALOS-2 was launched in May, so that won't help.
No.
And I can begin to see why examining 600 terabytes of satellite imagery and sonar imagery back in 2017 and 18 was not successful.
Mm.
It's a lot of data, but as I mentioned, partially covered by cloud and mostly low resolution.
Mm.
But my millionaire friend is supportive of the idea, and he reports he had a first successful nighttime mission parachuting an AI drone into the ocean and leaving it there to carry on its task by itself. He's the guy who suggested the idea of parachuting, say, 20 underwater drones into the Indian Ocean around the area where we believe MH370 will be located. As I mentioned, Blaine has already helped me getting the data from the recent debris finds together to update my database with the exact locations and dates.
Yep.
So that's ongoing. And Professor Simon Maskell worked on the DSTG model published back in 2015, the Bayesian framework, which already includes the Boeing data, the Inmarsat data, and the initial flight paths from the radar data. It didn't, however, include fuel modeling, so we need to put that in. And he would like to add whisper data to that integrated model in a Bayesian framework. So there are a number of ideas which we plan to try out, and it will take a while to put it all together, and then to develop AI models and analyze the data. And some of these aspects will take a year or two and keep us busy in 2025 and 2026. So at the moment, for me, the best bet is still that Ocean Infinity goes back out in November of this year. And of course, we all hope they will be successful.
Yes, I was going to say that's the we could be well. Hopefully, we're discussing the finding of MH370 in just a few short months. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed for that. That's absolutely fascinating, Richard. Really, I mean, I'm getting more and more exposed to AI all the time, and it's really only been in the public arena. I guess over the last couple of years, but clearly it's been in the background or it's been being developed by industry and used by industry for quite a few years before that.
Yeah, well, as we said at the start, over a million academic papers, and you you can you can see where there's academic papers, then there are novel ideas and enterprises formed, and I
Mm,
guess the number of AI companies that have sprung up in the last few years will be also a very long list.
yeah, extraordinary stuff. So, viewers, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you very much indeed, Richard, for all your work on this project. This is fascinating. Hopefully, you won't need to put all that stuff together because we'll find MH370 in the meantime. But but so tomorrow, viewers, we're going to be back with questions. We've got a bunch of questions for Richard. And there's a couple there, I think, for me as well. There's some fascinating questions, actually. I was very impressed by them. And so we'll be back tomorrow. And then we're going to take a break on Friday because I'm traveling to France for the Paris Air Show and we'll be stationed in France for a couple of weeks. But we'll still be broadcasting. We're still going to be doing our podcast and hopefully catch up with Richard in Germany. That's still the plan. I think it's still the
Yep, that'd
plan.
be lovely.
Be great. And so yes, so stay tuned, and we'll be back tomorrow. So please subscribe to us. Please like us. Please keep the comments coming. We love the comments and we love the questions. And don't forget to challenge us with something that you particularly want explored. So thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.